What is the most expensive radio time slot for advertising? Well, that would be the morning drive. I'm Nic Natarella. Thank you for watching. No, there's more to it than that, trust me. But typically that is the answer. It would be the morning drive. But how does all that add up? How do you come about? Where does this number come from? We'll go over that shortly. By the end of this video, you'll understand how does radio advertising work in the first place? What are the key elements involved in pricing radio commercials? And how can you get the most bang for your buck? Let's dive in. Now, when it comes to determining pricing for radio advertising, many radio stations will start with the number of listeners that are constantly tuning in to hear what they are playing every minute of the day. Typically, that number is called the cumulative number of people, number of individuals, I should say, that check in throughout the week. Now, hopefully it doesn't repeat people, but counts individual heads. Maybe they tuned in twice a week, maybe they tuned in every day of the week, but hopefully they're only counted as one. That's how they come up with the number of cum. Now, with the cum, the radio advertising is based on the number of listeners. So when you have a lot of people listening, that's the whole goal, is to reach as many people as you can. Radio stations try to build the listeners. How many people do they have listening to their station at any given time? Advertisers want access to those ears. How can they possibly get their products or services in front of all those people listening? That's the business formula of radio advertising. What's going to affect the price is going to be, say, stuff like the size of the market. What are things like when you compare, say, New York City? Who could be listening to any radio station in New York City at any given time? 100,000 people? 250? 5 million people if something really good is going on? As opposed to Springville, Alabama. Population, what? 2,000, 25,000? I don't even remember how many people live in Springville, Alabama. But suffice it to say, it ain't New York City. But yet, when New York plays Taylor Swift, it's the same song that Springville plays from Taylor Swift. How do you balance that? How does that come about? Well, again, it's also the size of the market, not just the number in the market. Another element that affects the pricing can actually change throughout the day. There's morning drive, middays, afternoon drive, evenings, and overnights. Those also have different amounts of people listening at any given time. Now, the most popular time is probably morning drive. That's going to have the most listeners, but what also is most indicative of the morning drive, we are creatures of habit. We typically do what we do over and over and over again, and almost at the exact same time. I mean, your morning could be like a serious Bill Murray Groundhog Day, right? You do certain things at certain times. You're stuck at the same red light. You're at the same intersection. You get in the car at the same time. All those things add up to repetition. And when you've got the #1 morning show in the market and people are doing the exact same thing to hear it again and again and again at the exact same time over the course of a week, a month, a year, that can also affect the price of the morning drive show. When ads drop into the morning drive show, you're probably going to pay a little bit more. So if this is making sense with all the radio stuff, we also go over, say, video advertising and podcasting. If you want to do podcasting advertising or using a podcast to advertise your business, that's what we go over here. So be sure to like and subscribe, and you won't miss a single episode, and you'll be able to take all these tips and tricks and act on them immediately. Now, I promised you I was going to give you some ideas on how you can make your budget work for you. There are a few things you can do, and then also keep in mind some other elements that are going to affect the schedule. First of all, there's one that's simply called run of schedule. What you can do is buy a package of commercials, let's say 30 or 36 or 33 ads, and you want them to run Monday through Friday, because those are the most repetitive days that we have. Saturdays and Sundays are always a little different, right? They're a little different in your life, right? But Monday through Friday kind of has the same rhythm. So let's say an advertiser has picked Monday through Friday and they want their commercials to run between 6 in the morning and 7 o'clock at night. That would take you from morning drive to afternoon drive and everything in between. The most repetitive times of the week. But they're not picking specific times. They're saying, take those 36 commercials and kind of sprinkle them throughout the week. Wherever there's an ad slot available, go ahead and drop one of mine in. Sometimes you're going to get a morning drive. Sometimes you're going to get an afternoon drive, and there are sometimes when you're going to get a middays too. But they're going to be spread throughout the entire week, and people are going to hear you again and again and again. Because you've given up that flexibility, you've defined the parameters, but inside those parameters, there's a lot of fudge factor. You can get away with a little bit better price than just a straight morning drive, afternoon drive, or midday buy. So you can kind of stack that in your favor. Radio is much more effective through repetition. One of the great ways to stack the repetition in your favor would be to specifically buy something at a given time. For example, the 7:20 news. Or how about the 8:10 traffic report? Something along those lines. Get your mention in there, because the people who are in their car at 8:10 are probably going to be the same people in their car every day at 8:10. So if you wanted to buy Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or 1, 2, 3, all 5 of them, lock yourself in. You're only talking about 1 to 5 ads per week. But yet, who are the people listening at that time? It's the same ones over and over and over again. Now, what are we talking about as far as your market is concerned? Are we talking about the same 20 people? Or are we talking about the same 20,000 people? Because when you start reaching those numbers of like 20,000 or something like that, it makes sense to buy a specific time slot or sponsorship. But if you're talking about 10, 15 people, which I highly doubt that for any radio market, well, except for a buddy of mine up in McGrath, Alaska, that might be the same 5 people throughout the day. So that all plays, it weighs itself out, okay? If you can reach the same 20,000 people, that's a great number to reach. Another great way to get yourself locked into a specific audience is, does the radio station carry a sports package? Do they carry the local college football, or do they carry NASCAR, or do they carry professional baseball or football? Any one of those packages, your ads are going to be locked in as a sponsor to that show every time they play a game. That's a great way if it fits your demographic. I mean, for crying out loud, if you are, a sporting good place, that might be a really good place for you to start running your ads inside the sports packages. Think about it. If it matches up, give it some serious consideration. If you're a restaurant, you might want to grab the 11:45 time slot right before lunch, or maybe the 3:30 time slot. Maybe throw an ad in there saying, so, what are you doing for dinner tonight? You don't want to cook. Come on over. We're already cooking, and it's going to be so good when you get here. That's the type of thing you want to go after. Can you strategically position what you're offering throughout somebody's day and insert yourself into their day? Not just pure chance by dropping in, but there are sometimes when you can leverage it to that extent so you become a part of their day. Those are just a few examples off the top of my head. There's so many things that you can talk to your radio reps about. In the meantime, I have something for you that's going to help you with your next ad. It is the complete guide to creating your radio commercial. In the description below, there's a link. Click on that link and get yourself a copy. It walks you through the entire process. This is not like a 1 or 2 page checklist. This is, I want to say 16, 17 pages, and it walks you through every step of the way on how to create an effective radio commercial for your business. Click the link below and get your copy right now. I'm Nic Natarella with AdWise Creative. Thank you for watching.